Let's explore commencement of Tai Chi. I'm going to mirror it so that you can follow me from the front and see what my hands are doing. Our starting position, our feet are going to be neutral, right about shoulder width apart, both feet pointing forward. My hands are going to relax at the side with the thumbs pointing towards me. What you'll notice is that's going to point my elbows to the outside as well as put a little bit of air underneath my armpit. The bent elbow and the air under the armpit are two very important positions for Tai Chi. Once I'm in my ready position, I'm going to transition my weight over onto my left leg so I can pick up my right foot and then move it out into a horse stance. Here you're going to see the first example of what we call the marionette. The knees and the elbows are going to move similar. The knees bend and the elbows are going to bend, bringing the hands up to the shoulder. The knees straighten and the elbows are going to straighten, pushing my hands out in front of me. From there, I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to start going to the left. I'm going to drop my weight down, shift my weight to the right. Once I complete the circle at the top, the right hand stays. The left hand is going to scoop under. Now, here's that marionette again. When the left hand passes the left foot's going to draw into a cat stance. This is going to help me transition into my next movement. Let's take a look at what commencement of Tai Chi does. This is if somebody's trying to reach at you. Maybe they've already got a hold of your neck, but it's better to get them before they grab a hold of you. As he's reaching towards me, I'm going to change my weight down and push his hands up at the same time, meeting him halfway. That's going to bring him close, and I'm going to use my fingertips. Once I push his hands out of the way, I stand up, and I'm going to push two fingers. I'm aiming for the spot on the bottom of the throat, right where the clavicle comes together. That's going to push him away from me. So he reaches at me, I stop him, I push him away, then I'm going to do a circle and I'm going to clear his arms out of the way so he can't hit me, and I open up some prime real estate to hit on him. Let's explore grass bird's tail left. We ended commencement of Tai Chi in a left cat stance. That was the left foot forward, the toes barely touching the ground. My left hand was at the bottom of the beach ball. My right hand was at the top of the beach ball. This is a very common ready position in the Tai Chi form. From here, I'm going to be moving my left foot. So I'm going to pick the left toes up and I'm going to reach out with my heel. When my heel reaches the ground, I'm going to transition my weight onto the toe. Here's that marionette. A lot of Tai Chi, the leg and the hand follow each other. So from my ready position, as I commit my weight from the heel and transfer it to the toe, my left hand is going to reach up. My right hand is going to press down. Let's take a look at what grass bird's tail left does. In this case, he's going to be punching at me with his right hand. Now, there's two ways I can interact with this punch. That's not one of them. First of all, I don't want to try to catch his punch like you see in the movies. All of his power is trying to come to here, and I don't want to fight power for power. I instead want to send his power in another direction. So one application of grass bird's tail left is I meet his power and I push it off to the side. You'll notice when I do that, I get all kinds of really nice areas I can strike to. There's another way as well. You'll notice as I'm standing and waiting for him here in this left cat stance, my right hand is here on top, already protecting my face. So he throws the punch, I can just slap the back of his hand, and then my fingers just catch on his wrist. Remember, that right hand movement was doing a pulling motion, so his energy's already coming that way. I'm just going to add a little power to it and throw him off balance. But then at the same time, I'm committing my weight forward, and I'm shooting this left hand forward. This is going to cause the pressure of a head-on collision. He throws the punch, I'm waiting for him, I grab, I pull, and I smash that forearm into the ribs. Let's explore grass bird's tail right. First thing you're going to notice is that grass bird's tail right does look a little different than grass bird's tail left. We ended grass bird's tail left with the left foot forward, the left hand was out, and the right hand was down. My first transitions are going to get me to face towards the right, which is why the technique is called grass bird's tail right. So for my grass bird's tail left position, you're going to notice my left foot does a rock, and doing the marionette, my left hand is going to make a very similar rocking action. Once I've moved my weight back onto that left heel, the toes are going to turn to the right. You'll notice that's going to turn my entire body. My hand is then going to come right to the top of the circle. At the same time, my right leg and my right hand are going to draw into a right cat stance. And that right hand is going to come down to the bottom of the beach ball. So it's going from this position of the grass bird's tail left, turning my entire body to face towards the right, and coming into this similar ready position, this cat stance. From there, I'm going to pick up my right foot and I'm going to reach out with the heel. When the heel hits the ground, I'm going to transfer my weight to the toe, very similar to grass bird's tail left. But then here's where it changes. When I change my weight, my right hand is going to reach up, my left hand is going to come behind it like I'm trying to feel my pulse. You're going to notice it's not going straight to the side of me, it's not going right above my head, but instead, I'm reaching up towards the corner of the ceiling as the direction I'm looking at. Let's take a look at what that does. So in this case, he's now going to be punching at me with his left hand, and he's going to do one of these that you see in the westerns all the time, what's called a haymaker. He's just going to swing that arm and try to take my head off. So the grass bird's tail right, obviously if I try to block a punch like that with just one hand, my arm's not going to be strong enough. He's got way too much momentum. I've got to meet his force. So I'm already in this position where I'm in this cat stance. I'm waiting for him to move. As soon as I see that shoulder move, you'll notice how I blocked it with both hands. I'm trying to take this X of my left hand feeling my right pulse. I'm trying to get that to intersect right here at the arm. Now notice I'm not just stopping it to the side, but I'm lifting it up above my head. That way if the punch is coming in really hard, it's going to slip over the top, and again it's going to open up all kinds of prime real estate that I can strike at. Let's explore the next movements: pull, press, and push. These are the three primary martial applications of Tai Chi. So we ended with our grass bird's tail right, where our right foot was forward, our right hand had pressed up, and our left hand supported that as though it was feeling our pulse. Most of my weight is right over here on my right leg. Once I've completed that block, I'm going to shift my weight back to the left leg. And you're going to notice my hands pull down next to the hip. You don't want to bend over. You want to keep your back straight and let your body weight create the motion. From there, the right hand is going to make a shield, level with my shoulders. The left hand is going to come up and support it, and then my body weight's going to shift over to the right leg. This creates a shield that's going to redirect his force. From the press forward, the hands are going to separate. They're going to come back here next to the shoulders. My body weight is going to sink back to my right leg. I'm going to sink low to the ground, getting underneath my opponent, and then I'm going to lift and push, pushing them away from the ground. Let's take a look at what that does. We had ended with that grass bird's tail right. He had threw this haymaker punch, and I blocked it and I pushed it over my head. From this position, my left hand is going to catch onto his wrist. My right hand is going to reach for his elbow. This is why we want to use our entire body weight. If he's stronger than me, my arms aren't going to be able to push what is called an arm bar. I want my whole body weight creating that motion. It's going to make him harder to resist. But when I get here, I don't want to have a tug-of-war with him. Remember, Tai Chi, we're not trying to fight strength for strength. We're trying to use our opponent's strength against him. Even if you notice from this position of that hook, I didn't stop it. I continued it over, and I just added to that momentum. Now that he's here, he's not going to like this pain on his elbow. He's going to want to pull his arm back. So instead of fighting strength for strength, I'm going to create my frame. I'm going to support that frame. I'm just going to change my body weight. This is going to stand him up a little bit. Notice I didn't send him flying off into the forest. But I did get him to stand up. And now that he's leaning backwards, look at what came out. Here's where the push comes in. I sit away. I'm going to get down below him. As I push, I want to lift away from the forest floor. And now notice I was able to push him back into the trees. Let's explore single whip. This is the brain teaser part of the first section, and I always love the brain teasers. The challenges are a lot of fun. So with that, the two challenges, one movement is out of our outside circle exercises. You can refer to that one. It's Cloud's Hands. Practice that Cloud's Hands over and over. That's going to make the hand transitions easier. This is also the part of the form where we get to our first backward step. So if that seems a little bit funny to you, go to the walking exercises and practice the Tai Chi two-step. That's going to get you comfortable with making that transitionary step. So starting here, we're going to go from our push, which was over on the right-hand side. My hands were at the level of my shoulder, and most of my weight was over here on my right leg. So from this position is where we're going to start getting into our Cloud's Hands movement. So my right foot, the toe is going to pick up, shifting my weight backwards. At that same exact moment, my right hand is going to marionette and draw to the bottom of the beach ball. You'll notice from this position, the left hand doesn't have to do anything. It just turns flat and grabs the top of the beach ball. When I make that motion, that right foot is going to turn, which is going to turn my body to face towards the front. I complete a circle with my right hand going up, my left hand coming down, and I switch my weight back over to this right leg. From here, I'm going to show you what my right hand does. All the fingers are going to curl around the thumb. That makes a good striking surface, and it's what we call a crane's beak. That crane's beak is going to sit a little bit bent in this position. My left hand is going to come underneath that crane's beak to be able to feed seed to my poor little hungry crane. So going from the push, the weight rocks back, the body turns, the hands complete the circle, I feed the crane. Now you'll notice as my left hand comes under, my left foot's going to draw into my left cat stance. Here's our backward step. My left toes step back into the side, and from here I'm going to pivot on my feet to face all the way towards the left. This is my single whip. Let's take a look at what that does. So in this case, he's going to be using what in boxing is referred to commonly as a 1-2 punch, or a jab and a cross. Remember, we're not John Wayne. He throws the punch. I don't want to try to stop that punch, especially if he's bigger and stronger than me. That's not going to work. Might not even work if he's smaller than me. Instead, what I want to do is take his power and send it somewhere else. We're going to be using these blocks from Cloud's hands that was also in Karate Kid. Wax off. So he throws the first punch. I'm going to just take the punch. I'm going to push it to the side. Notice I'm making a waving motion like I'm trying to say, hi, why did you just try to punch me? He throws the second punch. Same thing. I'm going to block it. I'm going to push it off to the side. Now, here's the important part about the second punch. This is his knockout punch. It's the one that has all the power. And because of that, it's going to be a little slower. I'm going to use that to my advantage. So he throws the first punch, which is quick. He throws the second punch. I'm going to block it, and then I'm going to catch it. I cut on the wrist. It works a lot like catching the handcuffs. Or if he's got a nice flowy shirt like this, I'm going to use my crane beak, and I'm going to catch a hold of his sleeve. And even from his sleeve, notice how much control I have over his balance right there. So now here is where I'm going to change his mind about wanting to hit me. He throws the first punch, I redirect it. He throws the second punch, I catch it. From this point, I'm going to step forward so I can get my body weight behind it. I'm going to open up my fingers, and I'm going to put that right across his stomach and his ribs. Now, I don't want to hit him and stop. I don't want to hit him and bounce off, but I want to strike all the way through, which is that position from single whip. Now, if he commits a lot of power to that punch, I can use that to my advantage and change it into a trip. So he throws the first punch, I block it. He throws the second punch, I block it and catch it. Look at how much distance he covered. He covered all that for me. Now as I do my step, you'll notice my knee comes behind his knee. My hand presses up. This is an arm bar. He's in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to make his body weight go up. You remember the arm bar from pull back. It's the same exact technique, but I'm using my shoulder instead of my elbow. Once I've got him lifted up, I'm just going to turn the direction to single whip, and you'll notice if I wasn't holding on to him, he'd end up down on the ground. Now that he's laying on his back, I can run away, and it makes it harder for him to catch me. That wraps up the first section of the Tai Chi form.